Hi, everybody. This is Module 3, I believe, discussion for chapters 2 and 3. For chapter 2, the first question is number 2. Explain the four purposes of nonverbal communication by giving a concrete example of each of them at work. The first purpose of nonverbal communication is to express emotion. Displaying appropriate emotion is vital to professional excellence, according to the text. Um, at work, it's very important to make sure that my emotion is appropriate. I have two jobs. One is I do in-home caregiving for adults with developmental disabilities, and my other one is I'm a bartender. So when I'm doing my care providing position, um, I can't let my clients know that anything outside of work is affecting me. Basically, I don't have a personal life. I don't have anything else going on except them in the moment. I need to make sure that my emotions are very um, calm and, um, centered towards them. They're very sensitive versus at the bar. Um, I can't let my customers know when I'm just like burnt out and tired or annoyed with them or annoyed with something else. I kind of just have to smile and, be a bartender. The second purpose is to convey interpersonal attitudes. The text gives an example of two coworkers who were competing for a promotion. The first one would approach the boss first thing in the morning, um, before the boss had time to put his coat away or settle in for the day. And this coworker found that he was having to repeat himself and his issues and concerns weren't really getting across to the boss. The second coworker noticed this, and so she would wait until the boss came into the office, had his coffee, responded to all the important emails before she would approach him. And in the end, she ended up getting the promotion because the boss thought that he kept her in the loop better, even though the other coworker was, bringing the same issues to his attention first. He just wasn't remembering them because of his own behaviors. Um, and so at work with one of my clients, this is especially true. I find that if I need him to do something, it really matters not only like how I ask him, but when I ask him, depending on what he's doing in the moment, how his last 5 minutes went, um, where his head is at in the moment. And so I find, compared to some of the other staff that I work with, that I have an easier time with him because maybe I've worked with him so long, but um, I really understand his interpersonal attitude. The third purpose of nonverbal communication is it presents one's personality, such as character, disposition, or temperament. Um, so at work, at the bar, I have to be loud and engaging and in charge and fun and perky and just all of the things. Versus at my other job, I have to be calm and attentive and I need to, very one-on-one with them. And so I feel like, it's like a split personality from one job to the other. Um, Kind of the same thing when I go to when I drive through Dutch Brothers to get a coffee and I go through my regular spot, they all know me. We're happy, we're loud, we're jovial, we're talkative and outgoing. Versus if I walk into like a hospital or the courthouse or even a fancy restaurant, I'm not going to be as, um, you know, just kind of excited or all over the place. I'm going to kind of rein it in a little bit. And so I think this is, what we all do. Depending on where we're at, we kind of change our personality to fit the situation. The fourth purpose is to accompany verbal communication. Um, so nonverbal communication can either repeat what is being said or it can conflict to what's being said. Um, So at the bar, I'll often use like hand gestures or expressions, or sometimes just a look when I'm talking with someone. So let's say I ask them if they want a drink. Um, so I'll say like, do you want a drink? And depending on, whether I do this with my hand or this with my hand or this with my hand or this with my hand, they'll know whether I'm talking about like a beer or a shot or a single or a tall. Um, and then also, I can yell someone's name and then like give them the look, and then they'll know what I want. It's kind of hard to explain. But also, on the flip side of that, it can conflict to what's being said. So, one of my clients, he likes to get mad, so he'll stomp around the house and he'll be cursing and yelling and just having a bad day. When you ask him what's wrong, he'll look at you and say that nothing's wrong, everything's fine, and then he'll continue back with his behavior. So obviously, um, his verbal communication is sending a different message than his nonverbal communication. Question 4 says to discuss 3 codes of nonverbal communication and how they interact with verbal communication. The first one I chose was vocal expression. This is the tone, the volume, the articulation, pitch, rate of speech, or the use of silence. The voice reveals our emotions and our thoughts and relationships we have with others. The second is physical appearance. The way we represent ourselves and our physical appearance reveal a lot about who we are, and the physical appearance of other people's influence our perception of them, how we talk to them, how approachable they are. And the third is facial behavior. The face can be considered a gallery for our emotional displays. And there are 4 categories of behavior that determine the appropriate facial response for a given situation. The first is neutralizing. It's when we erase how we feel, or the poker face. The second is masking, and that's when we hide an emotion that we're feeling with a more appropriate one. The third is intensification, and that's when our expressions exaggerate how we feel, or de-intensification, where we reduce the intensity of our facial expressions connecting to a certain emotion. Okay, that was chapter 2. Chapter 3, question 2, discuss at least 2 barriers to listening with personal examples. How do those barriers impact listening in the example? So the first one is failing to limit distractions, or more specifically, the internal noise, which is an internal condition or state that interferes with the communicator's ability to focus. I find that when I'm, trying to do homework and then I'm interrupted with a question or something, I will maybe just kind of mindly answer. I didn't really listen to what was being said. I hardly even heard it. It's because I've just got, I'm trying to focus on what, my assignment or what my response is going to be, or my essay or whatever. And the second one is failing to focus on the message, message overload, or jargon. And I think this happens all the time when someone is rambling and not getting to the point, which I find myself doing sometimes, or there's just too much information on the first day of class or the first day at a new job. And the problem is that the main points get missed. Okay, and the last question for chapter 3 is question 4. Explain the Hurrier model and how you believe it may or may not be useful for improving your listening. So the Hurrier model, Hurrier, provides a framework for skill-based listening by defining listening as 6 interrelated components: hearing, understanding, remembering, interpreting, evaluating, and responding. So, I think obviously if we all kind of took the time to do this, we would have a lot better communication skills. we would be better communicators, senders and receivers. Um, okay, I think that's about it. My video's gotten pretty long. Thanks for watching, everybody.